Morning, everybody. I'm Abby Haggard. Welcome back to my tiny little bright corner of the world. And I'm starting a podcast today. Is it a podcast? It's a video. It's a live video. It's a stream. It's an island in the stream. Am I an island? This is why we don't let me go off script. So I'm going to take a quick sip of coffee and hope that that rectifies whatever that was. It's not what's in the beverage, it's the temperature of the beverage. This is my firm belief. So, the conversation today is, how often do you find yourself in the middle of something saying, "What was I thinking?" I find myself doing that often. I have always found myself doing it when something that seemed as though it would flow wasn't, when something that showed up that looked like something wasn't. And then I have choices. I have choices based on the fact that I have invited people to participate. I have guided people to a place of confidence in choosing to participate. And now what I was about to hand them isn't what I intended to hand them. What does I do, you ask? Well, I can either fake it till I make it, or I can have fun with it and explain the accident. Good morning, Daniel. Explain the accident, just explain the minor distraction that caused me to go off track, or something that seemed like simple, as my friend Dave Keogh says, simple, so easy a child. It wasn't as simple as I thought. So that, I thought, was going to be a great conversation today. And then in the middle of it, all kinds of things just popped up and said, like this, and pick me. So what I chose, if you're on Facebook at all, what I chose for the image this morning is a pretty funny picture of a man dutifully trying to carry a dead horse, and the caption is, "Take a horse," they said. "It'll be faster," they said. But he didn't ask what kind of horse, you see, and there lies the problem. So we are 2 days away from the Ides of March. And if this were Shakespeare and you were Julius Caesar, I would seriously decide to rethink my plan and stay home. Just saying. Although it would kill the play. What now? What? Right? We got the whole rest of the play and nothing to do. And so the option that we always have before we leap is to look a second time. We always have that, even if we're in a hurry. And this, I'm a girl born in April. So I'm, if you're into the horoscope thing, that is the time of year of impatience and spontaneity and enthusiasm, and maybe a side order of stubbornness, maybe. And so what I have tended to do my whole life is say, tally ho, and we'll pick up the pieces as we go along. And then occasionally, that turns out to have been a fairly serious mistake. And I have paid a fairly serious price for it. So do I learn from these lessons? Well, I'm learning from these lessons. I am recognizing, as in I am in the process of giving myself permission to take the time to double check that I, in fact, packed the flashlight with the new batteries that work, that kind of thing, rather than rush headlong and saying, "Oh, it'll be fine." Because there are times when we don't have room for "it'll be fine." There are times when we need to go in fully prepared. And pretty much any time when there is a lot of uncertainty is the time that we want to be properly prepared. There's uncertainty every day. Life is an uncertain exercise. However, there are times when it is more uncertain than others. For instance, hurricane season is an uncertain time. Tornado season is an uncertain time. Wildfire season is an uncertain time. Maybe pick your holiday vacation another time. And so as we talk this morning about how often Do you find yourself saying, what was I thinking? The question is not just for us, not just good morning, Rhea. The question I'm asking is not just for us, we, me, personal. First thing in the morning when I get up and I look in the mirror and I think, okay, no, we can work with that. Not just for me, but I wear a lot of hats. And the conversation I want to have today is about the hats. And I'll get to that in a minute because my throat is just a little, not sore, just a little dry. And having taken that sip, I want to do a quick back step. We are getting so many cool new faces and new voices from my LinkedIn groups because I have realized that I can post these videos to you. And I want to thank you for joining me. I want to thank you for checking it out. I want to thank you for saying, I wonder what she's up to. And for those of you who've never heard of me, but you're saying that's fairly bright hair, maybe I'll look at it. My backstory is that I was an apprentice in marketing. And then in college, I met somebody who produced television. Good morning, Chris. Good morning. Good morning. And as I apprenticed, I learned about television. I learned about theater. I learned about stage. What I essentially learned, the shift from marketing, which is sharing a message, into communications and performance platforms, is all the different ways we can present and perform the message to increase and enhance our opportunities to connect and engage and align. It's all of a family unit. And for a lot of the groups on LinkedIn that I check into, I'm talking to CEO groups and I'm talking to marketing people and I'm talking to communications people. And I'm saying to you, there's more than one person on your side of this sitting there listening to me. There's you and the many hats you wear. And so today, in What Was I Thinking, I want to incorporate the business of the hats because I am a small business. I'm a solopreneur. I'm a small business owner. I work for myself. When I present myself to the world, you are getting a combination of Abby and all the characters and personalities and skills that Abby represents. So it is not just me. It is me and mine introducing myself to you and yours. And somewhere in that lovely threading together, in that wonderful way that we can create our tapestry, we kind of owe it to ourselves and each other to make sure that we're all present and accounted for when we say we are, right? We have to be there if we say, I'll be there. So back to the subject at hand. How often do you say, what was I thinking? Is it all the time or just occasionally? That's the conversation. The corollary in it is, what was I thinking when I made the decision to listen to you? It's not blaming that other person. It's asking myself why I thought that was a good move. Take a horse, they said. It'll be fun, they said. The question of this poor man is, what were you thinking? And why were you listening to them? If they said take a horse, did it not occur to you to say what kind, in what condition? Or did you just say, good idea, and rush off to find one? Or ask them where? For instance, if they said at the tannery yard, you'd know there was a problem. So as we start our move into, and by the way, the Schumann resonance, Chris, I was talking to you about this the other day. If you look it up, it's the Schumann resonance is really off the charts right now. The Schumann resonance is a frequency disrupt. Well, the resonance isn't, but when it's disrupted, it kind of messes with our general capabilities. It leaves us off balance, and depending on how sensitive people are to the resonance, it can for like a lot of people who have issues, maybe headaches or not feeling well when there's a full moon. Again, it's a magnetic shift in what we consider every day. Schumann resonance, same thing. If you're not feeling 100%, then you can look internally. You can also maybe check outside. If there's an electrical storm, if it's a full moon, if it's a Schumann resonance, if it is some kind of gigantic storm system, those would all be reasons why your antenna are going zert, 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 right? So we look to see what we're listening to, what we're factoring into our decisions, in order that we don't walk around in a fog, that we can stay focused, that we can remember why we're here. Why am I here? What am I doing here? What I'm doing here is I'm communicating to you. Why am I communicating it to you? What's in it for me? What's in it for me is I'm explaining a process to you, step by step, drip by drip, insight by insight, to get you excited and ready to go on the journey with me. Now, what this process is, it's called Pivotry. I call it Pivotry in motion because we're in motion all the time. Pivotry is the art and the path to resilience. Our ability to rethink and reset and refocus using all of our proven skills that we've packed away, our ability to polish and practice this when we need it, as we need it, is our short path to resilience. I talk a lot about change. There's 3 ways to cope with change. One is to run, one is to hide, and one is to ride the crest of change, like a tsunami, like a breaking wave. Change is always breaking. If we can position ourselves to ride the break, the momentum of change carries us forward. We don't get inundated. We don't get swept away. We get elevated. We get encouraged. We get energized. This is Pivotry in motion. How we rethink what we're doing and why gives us the confidence and the excitement and the curiosity and the enthusiasm to go and find and use the tools we already own, we already have. Part of the challenge for most people is that being able to just reach for the right tool is such an unconscious act. We don't even realize we do it, and we don't have any idea where those tools are. Enter the military brat who has had to, on demand, go and find those and get those and bring those and polish those roughly every 15 minutes from the time I was a few months old. So I know where they are, and I know what to do with them, and they're nice and shiny. And since I've done a lot of coaching and teaching and mentoring of people over the years, I can show you where yours are, and I can help you get back in the habit of consciously using them again. The same way, Chris, you're doing an amazing job. Bad days and good days. Good morning, Freddie. Bad days and good days, you made a commitment to do yoga. You made a commitment to do yoga because you know it's healthy for you. You know it feels good. You know it makes you feel better later. And even when times are tough and it's hard to get out of bed, you're still saying, yoga's my thing. If I miss it today, I'll be back tomorrow. And having that mindset, knowing that that tool is there at your disposal, knowing that you're good at it, knowing that when you use it, it is good to you, that's a confidence builder. That's an energy builder. That is an enthusiasm builder. And we all need those. And we all need people who have more skill than you got this. We need people who know how to got it, how to go get it, how to find it, how to polish it, dust it off, and start again. Simply saying, just say yes or just say no, isn't the instruction booklet that we're looking for. And right now, in these really, really fascinating times, we'd really like the instructions. We'd like them simple in the present tense and in our official language. Thank you. Right? Makes sense. So the conversation today, how often do you say, what was I thinking? This is my simple hack, my simple win, my simple solution. Before you start, where to start before you start is this. What does it mean? What do they mean? Take a horse. What do you mean? It's not confrontational. You're asking for a translation. You're asking for clarity. Take a horse. It'll be faster. What do you mean? They'll tell you. Huh? Really? How? They'll tell you. Instead of take a horse, it'll be faster. Great. And run away. What were you thinking just running away? If it hadn't occurred to you before, what do you mean? And by what do you mean? The long form is, how do you feel that will help me? But that takes too long. What do you mean? Second question, have you done it? Yes or no? If they say yes, cool, where did you get the horse? Or whatever. No. Okay. If you've never done it, why do you want me to do it? What's in it for you? Is it for the show factor? Have you got popcorn? People who come to watch me ride a horse bring popcorn because they've seen me ride a horse. They've actually, more accurately, they've seen me perch on a horse and fall off repeatedly on camera, not deliberately. So what we want to do is connect. What we want to do is engage. What we want to do is align. When somebody speaks to us, how's it going? Good, in you is not connecting. Connecting is, thanks for asking. Not bad. How about you? That's connecting and engaging. When they answer, that's alignment. How long does that take? 30 seconds? What difference does it make? Well, I live in an apartment building. There are elevators. If I have made a connection like that, if in 30 seconds we've done connect, engage, align, then the next time I see them, I'm in the elevator, the weather is good or bad, there's an issue or there isn't. We are already familiar enough to say, good to see you again. How's the day? We are acquainted enough to say, listen, I saw the interior light on in your car. You're driving the Buick, right? Yeah, I saw the light on in your car. Is that normal? Does it just take time to go out? That is further engagement. That is a deeper connection. That is a stronger alignment. Why does that matter? Because we are a village, and it takes a village. We are not outliers. We are villagers, and we are villagers who live in a global village. I came up with a really interesting thing this morning. I have to play with it, and I'm going to use it as part of a blog and part of the training program that I've got, because I like the simplicity of it. And it started off like this: hey, Goldilocks. Thug life or slug life? Shrug life or hug life? Which one is just right for you? Do we love that? Thug life or slug life? Shrug life or hug life? Which one is just right for you? What am I doing there? I am connecting. I am engaging. I am using unforgettable memory, reactions and responses to get us aligned. Chris Wilkes and I are administrating a Facebook group called We Are the Unforgettables. And our purpose in doing that is connection, engagement, and alignment. Our purpose in doing that is reminding people of the great moments that they've never forgotten, is reminding each other that the way we care about those moments, the way we cherish them, the way we honor them, the way we have fun discussing and exchanging ideas on them, is how we become unforgettable. It's how we join the village. It's how we become part of the tribe. It's how we set aside our differences and focus on the things that bring us together. We are aiming away from thug life and focusing on hug life, because that is just right. And all the other stuff is fraught with all kinds of pricklies that we don't need or deserve or want, right? So in the conversation today, which is not going to go on long because there are things mounting up and looming, I want to tell you a couple of really interesting things that are happening. The first one is that there is a growing interest and curiosity from people who are just now beginning at episode 340 saying, so what is this project you keep talking about? What is it for? And I wanted to say today, because this is part of what were you thinking? Are you listening to you? What I wanted to say and what I wanted to share is this: we don't get there by ourselves. Even if we decide to take a solitary hike, we are bringing with us the training and the tools that other people have shared, that we have chosen to believe in. When they work or don't work, we get to say, what was I thinking? Why was I listening to them? We are never on the path alone. We see a lot of these videos that talk about the universe and talking about raising your vibration and talking about connecting to people at a more authentic level. What I want to say today is that there is a great, great tendency to cling to the things that hold us back, to flail and self-flagellate over mistakes, to hang on to the weight of things we feel drag us down, we are in some way responsible or couldn't step away from, that overwhelmed us. And there was a time in my life between television shows when I couldn't find a way to make money, except that a friend of mine who had a balloon decorating company said, you can come and work for me. We could dress you up in a costume. You could sing happy birthday to people. Okay. The thing is, it's not that he said that. It's that I said, how much do you pay? And then I said yes. What was I thinking? Why did I listen? Well, I had to pay the rent, is what. Was I any good at it? I'm going to say I was colorful. I'm going to say I was colorful. I'm going to say I was memorable. I'm going to say that when somebody hired me, it was an unforgettable moment for everyone, including me and the poor schmo whose birthday it was. Here's the reason I bring that up. How you tie a helium-filled balloon in a way that keeps it from floating away is by anchoring it to a weight. If you put balloons as a centerpiece on a table, you have a frilly or shiny or sparkly covered weight, and the balloons are tied to the weight, and the weight keeps the balloons on the table. If you want to create an archway of balloons, and I've done that, you anchor both ends of the arch and tie off the top of the arch so that when people coming by, and if it's windy and whatnot, the thing doesn't just sail away. If you fill a person with optimism, if we ourselves fill ourselves with enthusiasm and excitement and curiosity and passion and compassion and drive and wonder and magic, and we are elevated. We don't have to push ourselves. We are naturally elevated because everything that we are filled with is light and beautiful and wondrous. The only reason we are kept down is because we choose to attach ourselves to weighty things. That's the whole point. There's a wonderful woman whose teachings I followed for a while, and I still check in on her every now and again. And if you want to see somebody just lovely who turned her life around, her name is Mandy Morris. She's a really lovely human being. And Mandy tells a story of her earlier life. And then she says one day, she said, that's enough. And she changed her focus. She changed her purpose. She changed her goal, her drive, her passion, and her direction. Did she have times when she looked back? Yes. Did she have times when she had to rethink and start again? Yes. What she was saying, though, was we don't have to reject and discard and refuse all the people and events and history that makes up the tapestry of our life. We don't have to deny who we were. We don't have to unforgive them. We don't have to be firm and say, never again, no more. This is one of my favorite ideas from her. We can draw a heart-shaped line in the sand and step inside that heart and love them from afar. I can love you from afar. I can love who you were and what we did, what we had, what happened. I do not have to live there now. I can love that where it was, where it now is, as unforgettable and unproductive now. I can draw a heart-shaped line in the sand and say, I forgive the part of me that looks to beat myself up. I can forgive that, and I can love you on the other side of the heart-shaped line in the sand. This is not black and white. This is safety zones and comfort zones and productivity zones. What was I thinking when I didn't listen? What was I thinking when I rushed to judgment? When I leapt off the cliff and on the way down said, parachute? What was I thinking? I was not thinking of me, and I was not thinking of my safety, and I was not thinking of what if and now what. I was in the moment. And now here comes the other moment. This way, very quickly. How often do you say, what was I thinking? How often will you say, let me double check? Let me double check. It's a quick double check. Every pilot who flies a plane does an outside and an inside check before he says, ready, set? Every trucker, every professional driver on the road does an outside and an inside check. Why? Because their lives and ours depend on it. Every single one of us is the professional CEO of our lives. What we have going on inside, what we have that is unresolved, is ours to own. It is not ours to smear all over everybody else's day. If we keep doing that, they will end up loving us from afar. How often do we say, what was I thinking? And how often after that do we say, let's make a checklist? Do I have to keep slugging my way through life? Do I have to keep fighting off my inclination to leap before I look? Am I living thug life or slug life? Am I always on an uphill climb, living bug life, carrying the same load that I refuse to put down? Or am I living hug life? Am I saying, you know what? This is what's in it for me today. As I shared with a client a few years ago, this is mine today. This is mine today. What is mine? Mine is my peace of mind. Mine is my serenity. Mine is my joy that I share with you in this moment today. The reason we're doing this, the reason I'm teaching you Pivotry, the reason I'm showing you the steps and the tools, the reason I'm introducing you through all of these videos, which, by the way, I'm putting on my new website. My new website is almost ready to share with you. It's so cool looking. These are tools. These are tools that you can look at, recognize, practice with. Drop on your foot and say, oh, and then put it back carefully. These are tools that can help you navigate the shallow waters. Pivotry is the art and the path to resilience. To no matter what, we have the wherewithal, we have the skills, we have the recovery patterns to get back on that horse, to get back on that bicycle and keep going. Resilience is how we thrive, and we all deserve it. I know that, good morning, Kevin. I know that, Warren, you've been having a tough time. You've been dealing with some health issues. You've got lots of family. You've got stuff going on. It's so important to give yourself time to be by yourself. Just doing some simple rib cage breathing to give your body and your brain and your energy a chance to recharge. You know, when you look at your phone and it says, I'm down to 20%, we recharge the phone. We don't frantically immediately make a whole bunch more calls. We plug the phone in, don't we? So what we're doing with Pivotry in Motion is teaching you how and with what tools you can recharge, refocus, reset. how you can build and enjoy your resilience, how you can live a much more productive, full, and fun life. That's what this is all about. So, my goodness, it's only 10:30. The reason I'm stopping early is because there are a couple of communications messaging platforms that I want to make sure are really good. And I have somebody who's going to be doing some technical stuff later, and I want it all ready for them, and I don't want to delay. So between now and we are over the weekend going through the Ides of March, and when we come back next week, we will have experienced and survived St. Patrick's Day. I want to remind you that when we come back on the 18th, it's only 2 days until spring. 2 days until spring. For those of us in the northern climates, it's a fairly big, significant difference in terms of temperature and expectations. Increasingly, in a lot of the lower climates, your areas are getting pretty unpredictable weather as well. And spring is a time to recharge and reset. It's a time to say, oh, I've now got 2 months until I want to do this, or 3 months until school is out, or 4 months until we've decided to pack up and move once the kids are done. It is a time for getting the checklists ready. It's also the beginning of Aries season. And when there's Aries season, it means birthday month can't be far behind. Not that I'm, not that I'm making this personal or anything. So before I go, I want to recap. How often do you find yourself saying, what were you thinking? What was I thinking? What was I thinking? Why did I listen to you again? The answer is comfort. The answer is habit. The answer is optimism. The answer is distraction. The answer is reluctance to change. Reluctance to try something new when how bad can it be seems so easy. And change is something that we address every minute of every day. And we, as the CEOs of our lives, upon whom many, many people depend, we have a choice, and we always have a choice. We can run and hide. We can live in fear and resist, or we can leverage the power of change and ride the crest of the breaking wave. And if any of those are confusing to you, difficult to you, how to do that well is part of the Pivotry process. And I got tools, and I'm very, very happy to share them with you. So until we talk next time, be safe as you possibly can be in the midst of Schumann resonances and full moons and Ides of March and all the other fascinating things that people are saying and doing in various places around the world. Be safe. When you're going to celebrate St. Patrick's Day, or you're just a witness to the celebrations of St. Patrick's Day, what was I thinking? Why am I listening to you? Those aren't bad things to ask yourself before you leap without looking. And I will catch you next time. I also want to say, as I always do, how awesome it is that you are part of this. How incredible it is that together, no matter what has happened over the last couple of years, you and I have found the time, have made it a priority to get together twice a week to do this. And I am so grateful to you for doing so. It means everything, because it means that we are connecting. It means that we are building our village. It means that we are getting our tribe in order, organized, and ready for fun and action and change and growth. And I'm excited. So thank you. And as always, I will catch you next time.